The global stage is heating up, economic superpowers are no longer playing nice, and the UK finds itself caught in the crossfire. The United States has ramped up its tech war against China, slamming the brakes on Beijing's semiconductor ambitions with sweeping restrictions. In response, China has made a bold move, pulling back from US public debt, a calculated strike in an escalating economic battle. And in the midst of all this, the UK is quietly pivoting, seeking closer ties with China to weather the storm of shifting alliances. At the heart of this rivalry lies the US's aggressive strategy to curb China's technological and economic growth. From imposing semiconductor restrictions to reinforcing its dominance in global finance, Washington has made its stance clear: China's rise must be slowed. In response, Beijing is taking bold measures such as reducing its reliance on US Treasury bonds and intensifying trade ties with other nations. Caught in the middle, the UK is re-evaluating its long-term alliances. With energy prices soaring and its industrial base faltering, London is pivoting toward China. Once skeptical of Beijing's ambitions, the UK is now eyeing opportunities to benefit from the Chinese market. This shift marks a significant departure from its traditional alignment with the US, signaling a willingness to explore partnerships that prioritize economic survival over ideological unity. This opening act sets the stage for a high-stakes drama. The geopolitical game is no longer just about two superpowers, it's about how nations like the UK navigate the turbulence, balance alliances, and secure their future in an increasingly multipolar world. Post-Brexit Britain finds itself navigating a precarious economic path. Severed ties with the European Union have left the UK facing substantial trade and financial challenges, while soaring energy costs only add to the strain. Amid this uncertainty, the UK is recalibrating its approach to international relations, and the most surprising turn of events is its pivot toward China, a move that underscores the sheer weight of economic pragmatism. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's scheduled visit to Beijing in January 2025 is more than just a diplomatic gesture. It signals a fundamental shift in the UK's global strategy. Once an outspoken critic of China, the UK government is now seeking economic opportunities with the very nation it once viewed with suspicion. Finance Minister Rachel Reeves is also working to foster closer financial ties, aiming to ease the mounting economic pressure on Britain. This strategic pivot is not without controversy. Engaging with China has raised eyebrows among Western allies, particularly the United States. The Trump administration's tariffs and protectionist policies have already strained UK-US trade dynamics. Facing the risk of further economic isolation, Britain is looking eastward for stability. China's appeal lies in its economic clout and its growing consumer market. For British exporters, tapping into China's vast demand is a lifeline. At the same time, Chinese investment offers an opportunity to revitalize struggling sectors, such as the UK's automotive industry. While this strategic realignment offers economic benefits, it also places the UK in a precarious balancing act between maintaining its Western alliances and securing its financial future. The stakes are high, and how Britain maneuvers this complex relationship could define its global standing for years to come. The technological battleground between the United States and China has intensified, becoming a defining front in their geopolitical rivalry. Washington's strategy to curb Beijing's technological ambitions centers on aggressive restrictions targeting China's semiconductor industry, a cornerstone of modern innovation and economic power. The Biden administration has doubled down on export controls, barring key players like ASML and Tokyo Electron from supplying advanced chip-making equipment to China. These measures aim to stifle China's advancements in artificial intelligence, 5G technologies, and military applications. By controlling access to cutting-edge tools, the US hopes to maintain its dominance in a sector critical to global power dynamics. China, however, has not remained passive. In a strategic countermove, Beijing has accelerated its domestic chip production capabilities, investing billions in its semiconductor industry. The nation's control over 30% of the global legacy semiconductor market has proven to be a crucial asset. These less advanced but widely used chips power everything from electric vehicles to household appliances. Analysts project that by 2027, China's share in this segment will grow to nearly 40%, underscoring its resilience and adaptability. Beijing has also taken steps to counter US economic influence. Its gradual withdrawal from US Treasury bonds signals a broader effort to reduce dependency on the dollar-dominated global financial system. By doing so, China aims to insulate itself from potential U.S. financial leverage while fostering bilateral trade agreements with other nations. The implications of this tech war are far-reaching. Global supply chains are fragmenting, and industries reliant on semiconductors face mounting uncertainty. The world risks splitting into two technological spheres, one dominated by the US and its allies, the other led by China. This bifurcation threatens to redefine economic and geopolitical alliances, with ripple effects for nations caught in the crossfire. Caught in the crossfire of escalating global tensions, the United Kingdom finds itself grappling with the need to recalibrate its trade policies. The Trump administration's tariff threats, coupled with the EU's economic strain and China's shifting strategies, have forced the UK to walk a precarious tightrope in 2025. Historically reliant on its European neighbors, the UK exports over 42% of its goods to the EU, while importing more than 50% of its essentials from the bloc. However, post-Brexit realities have strained this relationship, with export revenue losses reaching an estimated £27 billion since the UK's departure from the EU. The added pressure of importing expensive energy, compounded by Brexit-induced supply chain disruptions, has left UK industries vulnerable. Amid this turmoil, Trump's push for NATO members to allocate 5% of their GDP to defense spending threatens to siphon vital resources away from economic recovery efforts. If the UK complies, it risks diverting funds needed to bolster its struggling industrial base, further weakening its economic position. Meanwhile, China's growing prominence offers a potential lifeline. As the UK's second-largest import partner, China supplies essential goods at lower costs, helping to mitigate some of the financial pressures exacerbated by US tariffs. Additionally, China's robust domestic market, including Hong Kong's contributions, has emerged as a vital outlet for UK exports, collectively making it the UK's second-largest market for goods. Faced with these dynamics, the UK is quietly realigning its trade strategy. Engaging with China has become not just a pragmatic choice but a necessity, offering a counterbalance to Western trade barriers. Yet, this pivot comes with geopolitical risks, as the UK navigates a volatile landscape where economic survival and political allegiance often collide. The UK's automotive industry, once a hallmark of engineering excellence, is now facing its most challenging period in decades. Production has plummeted, with car output dropping below 990,000 units in 2025, a stark contrast to the peak of 1.8 million vehicles in 2017. This marks the 9th consecutive year of decline, reflecting broader issues plaguing the sector. Key factors behind this downturn include rising production costs, technological lag, and intensifying global competition. China's dominance in electric vehicle technology has placed UK manufacturers at a significant disadvantage. While Chinese EV makers innovate and mass-produce at scale, UK companies struggle to keep up, both in terms of affordability and technological advancements. Iconic manufacturing plants like Vauxhall's Luton facility, owned by Stellantis, are at risk of closure. The reasons are clear: high energy prices, insufficient government support, and dwindling global demand. The UK's reliance on traditional car manufacturing has made it particularly vulnerable in a rapidly shifting market where EVs are becoming the standard. Adding to these woes, the US's America First policies under both Trump and Biden have incentivized reshoring and driven up energy costs in Europe, further pressuring the UK's automotive sector. Compounded by Brexit's logistical challenges, supply chain disruptions have become a recurring nightmare, making it harder for manufacturers to operate efficiently. In this dire context, Chinese investment in Europe's EV sector is emerging as a potential savior. For the UK, tapping into this expertise might not just be a strategic choice but a lifeline. Yet this dependency raises critical questions about the balance between economic pragmatism and geopolitical independence. As the industry teeters on the edge, its survival may hinge on whether the UK can embrace change and adapt to new realities. The semiconductor industry has become the epicenter of the global technology race, with the United States and China locked in a fierce competition for dominance. Semiconductors power everything from smartphones to electric vehicles, making them indispensable in the modern economy. Yet the battle over who controls their production and distribution is reshaping global trade and geopolitics. The United States, under successive administrations, has imposed strict measures to curb China's technological ambitions. Advanced chips and manufacturing technologies have been targeted, with companies like ASML and Tokyo Electron prohibited from selling their most sophisticated equipment to China. These restrictions aim to slow Beijing's progress in developing cutting-edge technologies like artificial intelligence and advanced robotics. China, however, has doubled down on its efforts. The country now controls over 30% of the global legacy semiconductor market, a share projected to grow to 39% by 2027. This dominance in older, mass-produced chips gives China a critical edge in industries such as consumer electronics and electric vehicles. Beijing's strategy mirrors its success in the solar panel industry, where cost reductions and scaling production capacity helped it dominate global markets. This rivalry isn't just a technological issue, it has profound economic implications. The United States is contemplating steep tariffs on Chinese semiconductors, potentially ranging from 50% to 200%. While this may protect American manufacturers, it risks creating two fragmented markets, one aligned with the United States and another centered on China. For the UK and other nations, this battleground poses challenges and opportunities. Accessing affordable semiconductors from China might be tempting, but aligning too closely with Beijing risks alienating Western allies. As the semiconductor war intensifies, countries must navigate these complexities to secure their technological futures without becoming collateral damage in the broader US-China rivalry. China's strategic pivot in financial markets is reshaping global dynamics and challenging the dominance of the US dollar. For years, China held a substantial amount of US Treasury bonds, symbolizing the economic interdependence between the two superpowers. However, recent developments indicate a seismic shift. China has drastically reduced its holdings of US debt, reaching a record low of $760 billion, down by $37 billion in just a few months. This signals a deliberate move away from reliance on dollar-denominated assets. This withdrawal is more than symbolic. It reflects China's broader strategy to assert independence from Western financial systems. By reducing its exposure to US debt, Beijing is shielding itself from potential economic coercion while strengthening its bilateral trade ties with other nations. The Chinese government has also started issuing dollar-denominated bonds, attracting global investors and competing directly with US Treasury bonds. This move challenges Washington's financial dominance, especially as China's bonds offer comparable stability but at lower interest rates. The implications are profound. For the United States, China's retreat creates challenges in financing its debt, particularly as borrowing costs rise. Meanwhile, China's actions intensify global competition in capital markets, forcing other countries to reassess their reliance on the dollar. For the UK, this financial decoupling opens new opportunities and risks. Strengthening trade ties with China could help mitigate economic pressures, but aligning too closely might draw ire from Washington. As the world's financial landscape shifts, the UK must carefully navigate its position, balancing economic benefits with geopolitical considerations. This evolving financial rivalry is a harbinger of broader global changes, signaling the dawn of a multipolar economic order. The tension between the United States and China shows no signs of easing, with each nation doubling down on its strategies to secure dominance. Under President Trump's leadership, the United States has ramped up efforts to isolate China economically, focusing on tariffs, technology restrictions, and decoupling key supply chains. For China, the response has been calculated and assertive, prioritizing resilience while undermining US-led initiatives. Trump's renewed focus on trade wars and tariffs aims to weaken China's economic leverage, particularly in advanced technology sectors like semiconductors and artificial intelligence. However, these measures have had mixed results. While some US industries benefit, the global market disruption creates ripple effects that complicate economic recovery, especially in allied nations like the UK and the EU. China, meanwhile, has adopted a proactive stance, emphasizing self-reliance in technology and deepening ties with other global powers. The Belt and Road Initiative, alongside its robust domestic manufacturing policies, signals Beijing's ambition to lead a multipolar world. Analysts note that China is no longer content with reacting, it is reshaping the global rules to its advantage. This escalating rivalry impacts countries caught in the middle. The UK, for instance, must balance its historical alignment with the United States against its growing economic reliance on China. With China expanding its influence and the United States steadfast in its containment efforts, nations like the UK face difficult choices in defining their economic and geopolitical futures. As US-China relations veer toward prolonged confrontation, the broader implications for global stability are stark. Nations worldwide are recalibrating their strategies, signaling a future defined not by cooperation, but by strategic competition and shifting alliances. The stage is set for a new chapter in global geopolitics, one fraught with uncertainty and opportunity. The intensifying competition between global superpowers and the UK's shifting strategies signal a world in flux. As alliances recalibrate and rivalries deepen, the global economic and political landscape is undergoing a seismic transformation. The question isn't just about who will dominate but how smaller nations will navigate this complex web of power plays. For the UK, aligning its interests amidst US-China tensions and its post-Brexit challenges will be a defining test. Meanwhile, the broader world watches as the battle between economic protectionism and global integration shapes the future of trade, technology, and diplomacy. The stakes are colossal, and the ripple effects will be felt far and wide. Will these power struggles bring innovation and opportunity, or will they lead to further fragmentation and conflict? One thing is certain, the global order is being rewritten in real time. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the shifting tides of global geopolitics. If you found this analysis insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the forces shaping our world. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. How do you see these dynamics playing out? Until next time, stay informed and engaged.